Hello, welcome back. So let's talk about this leak. We're going to go through each and every product. We'll look at the faction savings and all that sort of stuff now that we know all this stuff's confirmed. You might have seen other information or other videos or other collected content elsewhere that goes through this. This is slightly different in that, number one, it contains the correct issues. There's a little bit of kind of, I've seen other videos where it's been reported slightly differently, but it's got all the correct issues. It's got all the up-to-date pricing. So I've seen this reported as well, where people were using pricing from before the Games Workshop price increase that was early this year. So this includes all the up-to-date pricing. And what we're going to do is we're going to compare the individual models. So we're going to go through issues 1 to 90 first, and we'll talk about the individual savings on each one. We won't talk about the paints because they are what they are. But in terms of the actual individual issues for models, talk about the individual savings and also what savings can be made from third party. And I'm basing that on 15% because most third parties are about 15%. I know that my favorite Element Games, they use 15%, and there's a affiliate link in the description. So if this helps anyone, I'd love it immensely if you use my affiliate link in maybe a purchase here or there from Element Games. Right, that's the last thing. That's the last time I'll mention that. So what we'll do is we'll go through issues 1 to 90, then we'll talk about it collected in factions. So some factions have got significantly larger savings than others. And the reason for that, honestly, is that there's 3 factions whose content is based on a previous combat patrol box, which is no longer available. So they've had their combat patrol boxes updated, which means that basically the savings look greater because they don't get the collected discount of a current combat patrol box. But we'll go through that when we get there. So we're going to go straight ahead. There will be no let up. So strap yourselves in and we'll go through individual magazine, what the savings are and what the savings are at third parties. So issue 1. Now we start with Space Marines and NIDS. That is everything from issue 1 to issue 20. As much as a lot of the content that's in here is from the Leviathan box set, so lots and lots of people will already have these models. If you don't, there's good savings to be made, and you know this is a good way to kind of get into those. So issue number 1, we have the Winged Tyranid Prime and the Captain in Terminator armor. Now, if you were to buy these direct from Games Workshop, the prices would be ridiculous. You'd be paying, over 50 quid for these individually. But you would never do that because you can get them far cheaper on eBay or anything like that. But for a magazine that costs basically 3 quid, perfect. If you can get it, go ahead. Also mention that by the point where we're recording here, we're already up to about issue 10 in the shop. So so some of you might have trouble picking up some of these magazines, but do what you can. Issue number 2, the Von Ryan's Leapers. Okay, so there is a saving of £24.51 for this issue. That's 77.8%, or you'd be saving about 20 quid at third party. Issue 3 is the Space Marine Infernus Marines. This one you're saving £8.51 or 46%, or around about £6 from third party. Issue 4 is some paints, so no savings to be made. Issue 5, this is a bit of a funny one. It's the Infernus Sergeant, the kind of special model that is only for this run. I've based this on about 20 quid, so you're getting it for half price. Obviously, it's unavailable at third party. Issue 6, we have the Barb Gaunts. There's a saving of £18 and a penny, or £13.81 at third party. Now, issues 7 and 8 are the Termagants. You get a full box spread across 2 issues. So across the 2 issues, you'll save £8 and 2 pence, or around about £4 at third party. Issue 9 is more paints. Issue 10 is our Terminator Librarian, or sorry, Librarian in Terminator armor. So you're saving about £15 or 60%. You'll save just over £11 at third party. 11 is paints. So issues 12 and 13 are our 5 Terminators. Something that should be mentioned here, I know this is the incorrect image, and you should know this for the rest of this collection. If there is either a push fit model or a multi-part kit available for a specific unit, in 100% of the cases for this collection, you'll get the push fit. If there is a difference between the two, you will always get the push fit. So there'll be no multi-part kit if there's a push fit option available. But these Terminators, you actually got a good saving here. So you save £22.52 across the two across the two magazines, and that's about £16 at third party. So it's about 53% saving on RRP. Okay, 14 is paints, 15 is the Psychophage, £27 and a penny savings. That's 73%, or about £21.50 at third party. 16 is paints, 17 and 18 is the Termagants again. Issue 19 is a Parasite of Mortex. Now this one's really good. It doesn't appear in a existing combat patrol box. So when we look at the faction prices, what we'll do is we'll forget about the individual model price, and we'll say, right, what is the cost of the combat patrol box plus anything extra that comes in the range? Well, in the case of this one, the Parasite of Mortex, it's not something that's in the Leviathan box, and it is not something that appears in the combat patrol box. So this is a really good one. It's saving £16 or 61%, or around about £12 at third party. Now, in terms of the same thing as this, the Chaplain on Bike, that's got a saving of £24 and a penny. That's about 70%, or around about £19 at third party. Again, this does not appear in the Space Marines Combat Patrol box, so this is separate to that. So yeah, good savings here as well. So that is the end of the Tyranids and Space Marines. Moving on to issue 21, we've got the Farseer of the Eldari. So we get most of the Eldari in issues 21 to 30. There's another one later on. So this guy is basically retails at 20 quid. So you're saving a tenner, that's half price. Or you'll save around about 7 quid at third party. Issue 22 is paints. Issue 23 and 24 is the Guardian Defenders. So across these two issues, you'll save about 17 quid, or around about 11.50 at third party. It's about 46% saving on retail. 25 is paints. 26 is a Wraith Lord. Now this is massive savings, 75%. It's a 40 quid model that you're getting for a tenner, or you'll save around about 24 quid at third party. Now issues 27 and 28 to 29, you're effectively getting 2 sets of the Wind Riders across 3 issues. So if you take the 3 issues as a whole, you're saving £44. That's 60% almost, or around about £33 at third party. Issue 30 is more paints. Now we start to get into Chaos Space Marines here. So the Dark Apostle, you're saving £16 and a penny here, or around about 61%. That's £12 at third party. 32 is paints. Now 33 and 34 is collected, the Chaos Space Marines, for which you will save around about 22 quid. Issue 35 and 36 is a set of Havocs, saving you half price basically. So you'll be saving 20 quid across the 2 magazines, or around about £14 at third party. Issue 37 and 38 is a Hellbrute, exactly the same saving, so half price, 20 quid across the 2 magazines, or £14 at third party. 39, we're back with the Eldari, and we get the Wraith Guard. This is another one that is not included in a combat patrol box. So when we do the pricing here, we'll be looking, this will be separate from a normal combat patrol box. And this one is a massive saving, 75%. So you'll be saving 30 quid just on this single magazine, or around about £24 at third party. Issue 40, we're back to the Chaos Space Marines, and these are the Chaos Terminators. But again, 30 quid saving, 75%, or £24 at third party. Now we move on to the Orks. So we've got the War Boss in Mega Armor, £16 here, or 61%, or £12 at third party. 42 is paints. Now there's a little bit of contention for what the next issues are. I've kind of worked it out. So between issues 43, so issues 43 is half a set of Orc Boys, and then issues 44 and 45, each one of those issues will either be paints or another half of Orc Boys. But certainly in terms of the Orc Boys, you will be saving, not very much actually, you'll be saving a couple of quid. Issue 46 is paints. Issues 47 and 48 is Deathcopters. So you're saving across the two magazines £22.52. That's about 53%, or £16 at third party. Issue 49 and 50 is the Orks Death Dread. So here, saving 20 quid across the two issues, or £14. It's 50% off retail. Issue 51 is paints. Issue 52 is the first of the Votann. So we have the Carl here. That's a £16 saving, or 61%. £12 at third party. Issues 42 and 43 is the Hearthkin Warriors. So you're saving £17 across the two issues, or 46%, or saving around about £11 at third party. Issue 55 and 56 are the Hearthkin Pioneers. So you are saving £22.52 across the two issues. That's 53%, or about 16 quid at third party. Issue 57 and 58 is the Chthonian Berserkers. These are basically half price. So you'll save 20 quid across two issues, or about £14 at third party. Issue 59, we're back to the Orks with a Boomdacker Snazwagon. This is, again, massive savings. So it's a 37 quid model that you're getting for a tenner. So £27 saving, that's 73%, or you'll save around about £21.50 at third party. Issue 60, back to the Votann, we have the Einar Hearthguard. This is another one that doesn't appear in a combat patrol box, but basically 75% saving, a 40 quid kit for 30 quid, or saving around about £24 at third party. So a very, very good one there. Now we're on to the Genestealers. We start with the Magus. It's half price. So you save a tenner, or 50%, or £7 at third party. 62 is paints. 63 is the Acolyte Hybrids. So you're saving £18 and a penny, or 64%, or £13.81 at third party. Next up, we have the first set of Neophyte Hybrids. So issue 64 and 65 on Neophyte Hybrids. It's the first set. So you save 14 quid on that. It's 40%, or about 9 quid at third party. Issue 66 is a set of Aberrants. So £18 saving here, that's 64%, or £13.81 at third party. Issue 67 and 68 is Neophyte Hybrids again, so same savings again for that. Issue 69 and 70 is a Goliath Rock Grinder. So yeah, basically you're half price here. So you're saving 20 quid across two issues. That's 50%, or £14 at third party. Now we move into the Astra Militarum. And we start with the Cadian Command Squad. So you're saving £18 and a penny here. That's 64%, or £13.81 at third party. 72 is paints. Now 73 is a full set of 10 Cadian shock troopers. So you're saving 68% there, or £21.51, 16.79 at third party. And then issue 74 is exactly the same thing. So this follows the combat patrol box. You get 2 full sets of 10 Cadian shock troopers. So very, very good set there. Issue 75 and 76 is the field ordnance batteries. So you're saving across 2 magazines around about 14 quid. That's 41%, or about £9 at third party. Issues 77, so you get a full heavy weapon squad on its own. That will save you £21.51, or about 68%, about £17 at third party. Now, another brilliant saving is the Atalan Jackals. So again, this is not in the current combat patrol box. It was in the older one, but that's no longer available. So you're saving 30 quid on this. So that's 75%, or around about £24 at third party. Brilliant, brilliant savings on this one. And in issues 79 and 80, we've got a Sentinel. So you're saving about 8 quid across the 2 issues. That's 28%. Or saving about 4 quid at third party. Now we move on to the World Eaters. So with the World Eaters, we are saving, we start with the Lord on Juggernaut. This is spread across 2 issues, so you'll save £22.52 across the 2. That's 53%, or around about 16 quid at third party. Issues 83 and 84 are Jackals. So you're saving £14 here, or 41%, around about £9 at third party. Issues 85 and 86 is a full set of Berserkers. So a full set of Berserkers split across 2 issues, saving you £22.52, or 53%, or around about 16 quid. And then you get exactly the same in issue 87 and 88. So it'll be 2 full sets of the Berserkers here. And then finally, we have a Forge Fiend across issues 89 and 90. Total saving here of £32.52, or around about 62%. That is around about 14.5 quid at third party. So some really, really cool stuff here and some brilliant savings. One of the things I really like about this is that there's 90 issues here. We don't get any paints after issue 72. So basically, across the whole 90 issues, there's only 15 issues that have got paints in it. The first one we get with issue 4 has got 3 paints in it, and the rest have got 2 paints in them. Now I know that we do make, if you think too much about cost for this collection, you don't like the paints, even though you need them to paint them and all that sort of stuff. People don't like the paint issues, but it seems to me that it seems like there's less in this collection, which is a good thing. And like I say, the last one is issue 72, so there's 18 issues after that where there's no paints at all. Actually, if I look at it, after issue 50, there's only 3 sets of paint. So across 40 issues, you're only getting 3 sets of paint. That's almost all of the second half. So that's really amazing, to be honest with you. Really, really very cool. So that is the individual breakdown per model, or sorry, per magazine. Now what I want to do is I want to do the exact same thing, but broadly looking at the factions themselves. Now the first 3 look like there's higher savings just because they don't have a current combat patrol box. All this is based on the old combat patrol boxes, but you can't price it against them just because they're no longer available. Hope that makes sense. So let's go through it. So Genestealer cults. So you get the Magus, the Acolyte hybrids, 2 sets of Neophyte hybrids, a set of Aberrants, a Goliath rock grinder, and those Atalan Jackals. So basically, across those lot, the magazine cost is £99.90. The RRP is £224, so that's £124 saving. That's 55%. 55% saving on retail. So it sounds great, and it is great, to be fair, but again, it's not as big. It's a bit skewed because it doesn't have a combat patrol box, same as the Chaos Space Marines. So Chaos Space Marines magazine cost is £79.92, RRP is £188.50, so that is a saving of £108.58. That is 57%. So the kind of ranking I'm doing here is in terms of value saving, not percentage. And with those Chaos Space Marines, you get the Dark Apostle, a set of Chaos Space Marines, a set of Havocs, a Hellbrute, and a set of Chaos Terminators. Next up, the last one, which doesn't include a current combat patrol box, is the Orks. The current combat patrol box for them is more the sort of beast snagger ones, but this is based on the previous box. So magazine cost is £79.92. RRP is £179.50. That's a saving of £99.58, or 55%. Within that, you get a Warboss in mega armor, a set of Ork Boys, a set of Deathcopters, a Death Dread, and a Boomdacker Snaz Wagon. Okay, so now we get into sets that do actually have a combat patrol box. So the next best saving is Space Marines. Now, I know that they are maybe not quite as exciting as others just because of the way it's put together, in terms of this stuff is in all of the different starter boxes. It was in the Leviathan box, and a lot of the stuff is floating about at various pricing on eBay. So this and the Tyranids, to be fair, look broadly on your pricing before you make any decisions on this. So basically, the Space Marines is a combat patrol box plus a chaplain on bike and the Infernus Sergeant. The savings on here is £92.56, or 60%. In terms of content, we get a Captain in Terminator armor, a Librarian in Terminator armor, a set of Terminators, a Terminator Chaplain on bike, 5 Infernus Marines, and our special Infernus Sergeant. Next up, we have the Eldari. So what we get here really is we've got a combat patrol box plus the Wraith Guard. So the RRP for that kind of together is 140 quid. That saves us £60 and 8 pence, or about 43%. What we get in that is we get a Farseer, we get the Guardian Defenders, we get a Wraith Lord, we get 2 sets of Wind Riders, and we get the Wraith Guard. Next up, the Leagues of Votann. So with the Leagues of Votann, we get combat patrol box plus the Anya Hearthguard. That's £140 RRP, £60 and 8%. Sorry, £60 and 8 pence saving. That's 43%. So the model list on that is a Carl, a set of Hearthkin Warriors, a set of Hearthkin Pioneers, a set of Chthonian Berserkers, and the Anya Hearthguard. Next up, we have the World Eaters, which is made up of a combat patrol box plus the Forge Fiend. That's £152.50 RRP. That's £52.60 savings. So the reason why some of these savings might appear different is because it depends on the number of magazines it's spread across, if you know what I mean. So for example, the Votann, we saved £60 and 8 pence against £52.60 with the World Eaters, but the World Eaters is spread over 10 magazines, whereas the Votann is only spread over 8. Hope that makes sense. £52.60 savings. In terms of the content within, We get the Lord on Juggernaut, a set of Jackals, 2 sets of Berserkers, and the Forge Fiend. Next up, we've got Tyranids. So this is basically Combat Patrol Box plus a Parasite of Mortex, RRP £126, saving of £47.58, or around about 30%. In terms of the box, we get the Winged Tyranid Prime, set of Von Ryan's Leapers, set of Barbagaunts, 2 sets of Termagants, a Psychophage, and a Parasite of Mortex. And then finally, we have the Astra Militarum, which is made up of a Combat Patrol box and the Heavy Weapon Squad. £131.50 RRP, saving of £51.58. That lot, you get a Cadian Command Squad, 2 sets of 10 Cadian Shock Troops, a set of Field Ordnance Batteries, a Heavy Weapon Squad, and a Sentinel. Now, to quickly run through the contents in terms of best savings for third parties, we will go through, or what the savings are at third parties. Basically, if you buy Genestealer Cults at third party, you'll save £55. Chaos Space Marines £57.60, Orks £55.47, Space Marines £60, Eldari around about £43, same for the Votann, £34.49 for the World Eaters, £27.80 for the Tyranids, and around about £39 for the Astra Militarum. So I hope all that made sense. If you've got any questions or anything like that, I've got all the data. So if you've got any questions or anything like that, let me know, and I'll be sure to answer you in the comments with anything that kind of sticks out. If you pick up on any errors or anything that I might have got wrong, please let me know, and I'll pin your comment as well, so as we can help other people that have seen this. And what I'll do is, I'm still working on the spreadsheet that I've put all this together on. What I will do is, for you guys who have hung around right until the end, I will post a link in the description to that. It will be ready at some point next week, so you can check back in for it. But yeah, much appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. It was a long one, so I appreciate you hanging out, and I will catch you later. Don't forget to subscribe and all that awesome stuff. I'll see you later.